All right. Let's gather round. Let's gather round. My goodness. Final preparations being made. Okay. It is Tuesday, May the 4th. Yeah, we get it. May the 4th. Jedi powers. About had it with that. It is Tuesday, May the 4th, 2021. It's kind of fun, actually. Maybe I'm starting to come around. May the 4th be with you. Is that May the 4th? I keep wanting to say May the Force. May the Force, and then you got to do the hand thing. May the Force be with you. May the 4th. What the fuck am I doing? It is May the 4th. We've gotten that all taken care of. 2021. The show comes to you from the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker Studio. The Eric Zane Show podcast begins now.
Yes, hello. Sean Gotti with you once again from Raleigh, North Carolina. And you know what? There's a million other things I'd rather be doing right now. But here I am, listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast. So without further ado, here he is, the one, the only, thank God.
Thank you.
Eric Zane.
Yes, Sean. Beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina. Never been to Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, welcome in. Hope you're doing okay. The show has begun. Holy crap. So glad you are here. We've got a live audience. We do this every single day the same way. Live video can be seen, the live stream, facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page. Brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. Please share that thing, like it, all that fun stuff. Twitter, brought to you by Blue Frost IT, a Periscope video right there. Retweet it with a snarky comment. Would love that very, very much. And then on the almighty YouTube as well. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, thumbs up, off you go. Instagram, you can find me, Eric Zane Show on Instagram. Brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. You can reach out to me via email on the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Been promising Tim Mayer that I would get a little bit more in depth on that. He just signed up at Shoreliners Striping for an entire year of marketing. And then he sent me, I was like, hey, man, I need a cheat sheet to talk about you guys. And then he finally got it to me, and then I haven't said a word about it. All right. So what they do there is they stripe parking lots. Of course, our local clients include some of the biggest parking lots and garages in Michigan. Whether your needs are for a complete or partial restripe, a new layout, Shoreliner Striping offers professional and affordable parking lot striping services. Shoreliners can also provide curbs and island painting. Ooh. Parking post and sign installation. That sounds like a terrible job. Speed bump and parking block installation. They install speed bumps. They're the guys that are the reason why my car is all screwed up because I didn't see this stupid thing. Paint it yellow. Anyone calling or emailing Shoreliner Striping for pavement marking or parking lot striping, if you mention the Eric Zane Show, you receive the Zane rate, 15% off the 15% off discount on any size or type of job. Well, that's awesome. All right. So thank you to my friends at Shoreliner Striping. Oh my gosh. We have a date set for Diana's surgery. One more thing. Please remember that you can always download the audio podcast wherever you download podcasts. If you could subscribe, rate, and review, that would be very, very cool. I appreciate that. So the Queen of the Forest is looking at this. She has, after just bugging her, I'm like, okay, seriously, because she can't do anything. And she's a type of, mean, as I guess we all would be, being that she's right-handed. She can't stop using the right arm. And now it doesn't go any higher than just a few degrees up, and it's intensely painful. Do you remember some time ago I told you the story about she was walking the dogs, and two of the dogs, and I had the other two, and then we had been looking for Buddy Bobcat Face, a cat that's now deceased, and we found him in a neighbor's yard. And so I gave her my two dogs, O'Neill and Bruce, while she has 4 dogs. Now that's dangerous. So this is kind of my fault. I went and picked up Buddy out of the bushes. The dogs see me holding the cat. They take off and they drag Diana like they're a speedboat and she's a water skier, except she face plants and they're actually dragging her easily across the neighbor's lawn. Well, that's the only thing we can think of that could have caused the damage. That is a torn rotator cuff. Now, that was some time ago, so the doctors suspect that something happened, and then scar tissue built up, and then created the frozen shoulder. So she has 2 issues here. She needs surgery to repair the damage discovered by an MRI, and then she needs a lot of work, rehab-wise, to somehow get her beyond the frozen shoulder. But then again, you can't work too hard in rehabbing it with a new procedure done, a new surgery, because you don't want to damage what you've already repaired. So this is tricky shit, man. So we're talking a very, very long process, and it all begins May 12, 10:50 in the morning, May 12. Diana goes under the knife to get this shoulder repaired. And this is, from what she was describing to me, this is really going to set her back. I mean, they don't even want her walking around for like a period of time, several weeks, because any type of moving of this shoulder, I mean, it's really delicate. I'm like, my God, this sounds terrible. So, yeah, that is, so I'm going to have to help take care of her, of course. With some help from Madison and Jackie. Notice I am not including the NFK in this. Can you just imagine if the NFK actually had to take care of Diana? I mean, seriously. She says to me, she keeps claiming, and it's making me very unhappy. She keeps claiming that I am going to have to wipe her butthole. And she laughs when she says it. She goes, no, seriously, I think you're going to have to do that. I go, well, no, why would I have to do that? You have another arm. And she goes, I know, but I'm used to using my right arm to wipey. I go, well, just, it's not like it doesn't work. It's just a little bit, you got to take your time. You'll get used to it. And she just laughs her ass off. I cannot, that's really been on my mind lately. At 50 years old, we're not really going to have a problem with anybody taking, I mean, you know, when I get really old or when she gets really old, or God help us all, if the NFK becomes incapacitated and really old, there might have to be some assistance on the ass wiping. And to me, that is, oh my God. I'm guessing once you really get down to it where, okay, this actually has to happen, you might have to, your mind might wrap itself around the whole idea, but it's like, well, we have no other choice. The asshole needs to be wiped. And I just cannot imagine the dynamic of that. I mean, because does it go where the person sits on the toilet? Let's say Diana needs help wiping her ass. She's 90 years old. I'm 86. And she goes poo. And then do I just go, I guess I would reach under there while she's actually on the toilet, you know, like kind of help her out in that regard. Can you just imagine an 86-year-old man wiping a 90-year-old woman's butthole? Oh God, I don't, this is why you should never grow old alone, for the idea that no one can help you. If you are alone, that's scary shit. I am with you in prayer that you find someone to actually help you take care of you. This is why you have kids. I oftentimes wonder about people who don't have kids. And then, what's going to happen if you get super old and you live a long time and everybody else around you that you know that's your age has croaked and you have nobody and you're stuck in a home or you're in your own house and then you die and your cats eat your face. I mean, this is serious stuff. This is stuff you need to think about. So anyway, going back to Diana, I will be helping her. She wants me to wipe her butthole. I'm like, no, I'm not going to wipe your butthole. You can wipe your own butthole. You'll be fine. But, and then there's the idea of the NFK. I'm like, holy crap. If someone has to wipe his butthole, shoo. Honestly, if the NFK ever became incapacitated where, he couldn't really think for himself, he would probably, his health would improve because then I would force him into the bathtub and scrub his face and his body. I don't necessarily want to be a caretaker of anyone, but if I had to, I would. If you are a caretaker, you have my support because that is a tough-ass job. That is something nobody wants to do that job. If you are either you do it for a living. In fact, I know COVID Tom. He does this for a living. He takes care of people. That's like sainthood, okay? To me, caretakers should make minimum of $500,000 a year, okay? Caretakers are exposed to more crazy shit, I think, than like brain surgeons or people who do any type of doctor. Caretakers who do the ass wiping and the body scrubbing and the bed sore cleaning, shit like that. Those are the people. Teachers, caretakers. They need the real money. Teachers, because they're dealing with asshole kids all day long, okay? And they resist the urge to open fire in the classroom. That alone is a reason why our school teachers need as much money as possible and our caretakers. Make it happen. With Biden, it's going to happen. He's spending everybody's money. It's unbelievable. I was talking to Red State Dirk. I have convinced him that he is now a supporter of Joe Biden. He made it very, very clear to me. He said, fuck it, I'm buying a boat. I just shared an email with him, or he just shared a text with me and said, this is what's going to happen. He is now convinced Joe Biden is the answer. Unbelievable. Who knew? All right. So May 12th, Diana goes under the knife, and I'm sure there will be a long, long list of stories that take place after that happens. Okay. So if you remember last week, I had said to you, I think I'm going to change my own oil. And I on that truck of mine, that 2003 truck, I go, it's an old truck. It should be easy to do. I trust I can do this one. We take our cars to Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. But with this truck, I said, you know what? It looks really, really simple. And I want to also support, in addition to Irvine's, I want to support Jason Mays, who distributes AMSOIL. Okay, I'm going to buy a couple of gallons of oil from him. Apparently, this truck takes 6 quarts and an oil filter and a little thingy to get the oil filter off. Okay. One of my other audience members says, Zane, you don't need car ramps for that truck. There's enough lift on that 03 Silverado that you can just shimmy right underneath it. And he's right. That thing has plenty of lift. Get under there, and I see the drain plug and, where it goes in, the little housing unit for the drain, for not the drain pan, the oil pan. And the oil pan on this truck is steel, unlike the last time I changed oil on that Neon. It was like aluminum, and it didn't take anything to strip that thing out and wreck my life. And what was a simple oil change last time I attempted this turned into a $400 repair job because I had stripped the freaking threads on it and it started leaking oil right away. So I'm like, okay, great. This is perfect. And I was talking about this on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Very, very concerned because I put the little socket thingy. Is that what it's called? A socket? To get the bolt off so you can pull the oil out of the vehicle. And I can't turn it. And I'm like, wait a minute. am I turning it the wrong way? Now, I don't know. I mean, I know lefty loosey, righty tighty, but I thought to myself, I had just gotten in my own head that maybe I was doing this wrong, you know? So I start like pulling on the thing, and I'm like, okay, come on, you can do this. And nothing. I don't have the strength to undo the bolt. And right away, I'm starting to establish a terrible feeling in my brain that I am off to a bad start and I am going to wreck this. Okay, I got my little catch pan there. I'm ready to go. So then I, with the socket thing still on there, is that what it's called? A socket or a ratchet? That's a socket and a ratchet, right? The socket is what goes onto the bolt, and the ratchet is the, makes that noise, and then only it loosens or tightens in one direction. You push the thingy on the back. Is that what that's called? So then I go, okay, I'm going to hit it with a sledgehammer. No, not a sledgehammer, a mallet, a rubber mallet. I'm going to hit it with a rubber mallet. And I go to get the mallet. No mallet. I cannot find the mallet. My tools are shitty. Everything is just a disaster, and nothing's organized. I'm one of those guys. So I get back under there and I go and I start to hit it with the base of my hand, and it hurts, but then it moves. It moved. Boom, 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 boom. It moved. Yes. So okay, great. I start to pull on it, and then it starts to come loose. I go, oh, thank God, thank God. I'm turning this thing. A little bit of a Santorum comes out of the where the how the bolt's pulling out now. The Santorum is building up on the side of the bolt, and then I go, okay, now don't drop the bolt. Do not drop the bolt in the oil. I didn't. Pulled it out. Here comes the oil. Okay, awesome. I am totally in business. Went to YouTube ahead of time to make sure that this is what it's supposed to look like. Now, I know this, but you know me. I always go to the YouTube video and try to figure this shit out. All right, oil comes out. I pop the hood. I take the oil cap off where you put the oil in to kind of get some air going through there, whatever, get more oil out. Takes a few minutes. All the oil comes out of this thing. Oil is so dirty. Actually, it wasn't too bad. Okay. Once that's done, I put that little pluggy thing back in there. Then I got to get the filter off. Put the little filter remover thinger on there. And that Maze sold me. It starts to move right away. Okay. Now, this is always terrible because now I took the oil that was in the pan. Again, this truck holds a lot of oil. And then I put a funnel on top of a milk jug. And I'm going to pour the oil out of that catch thing into the funnel, which is then going to go into the milk jug. So I'm pouring it, and then I'm kind of like looking over the side while I'm bent over to see the oil filling up inside of the milk jug. And the amount of oil that's leaving the pan seems like more should be filling up inside of that jug. I go, what is going on? And then it's because, it wasn't going into the jug. It was rolling out of the side. I'm missing the fucking funnel. Like, of that stream leaving the pan, 1/3 of the stream is going into the funnel, and the rest is landing on the floor of the garage. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Holy shit. So it's spreading. And I'm like, oh, man. So then I adjust and I start to get it more into the jug. I'm like, oh, thank God. So then, all right, this big puddle of oil, go get like 15 rolls of paper towel, clean that shit up. Of course, already I'm like, was this worth it? Okay, after having to do this, I just spent $300 on paper towel. Would I have been better off? Probably. I probably would have been better off just taking it to Irvine's, but then I wouldn't have this story. Okay. I fill up that jug. I have to put more oil into a second jug. Put the lid on those. I'll dump those in the woods later on. I'll dump those in my neighbor's backyard later on. Okay, now I have an empty pan. I have to put the pan back into there. I have to get that filter off. And this always sucks because you got to like roll up your sleeve and you're undoing the thing, and then the oil just starts to gush off the sides, right down the filter, right down your arm. You got to hold your arm in a particular way so it doesn't run down your sleeve all the way to your armpit. You're turning the damn thing, and then don't drop it. Don't drop it, because if you drop it, it's going to land right in that oil pan. It's going to splash all over your face. More laughs for the audience. Okay, don't drop it. I didn't. And then that's it. Okay, then you're holding it, tipping it upside down, getting all the oil out of the thing. Okay, great. All right. You've got the clean filter, lubricate the rubber gasket. That's pro mechanics like me. We know these tricks. You got to lubricate that gasket for the next time it comes off okay. Screw it back on. Done. Awesome. That's it. Freaking perfect. Pour the oil in. I put the funnel into the oil thing Philly on top, and then start pouring it in. I'm kind of missing the funnel again. It just doesn't flow out that easily. It kind of, instead of just coming out nice and easy when you start pouring this 1 gallon jug, it does a little bit of that gluggy thing where it just, which it's the reach of the stream is increasing and decreasing, shooting over the funnel and then like ahead of the funnel. So, but not really going in the funnel, and it's going all over the inside of the motor. And I'm like, shit. Okay, great. So then I finally dial it in. It takes about 6 quarts. I'm scared to death that I'm going to overfill it. So every time I put in like 1 ounce, I stop, pull up the dipstick, look to see how much is in there. I did that like 100 times. This all took a long time. Okay. Finally get it done. Was it worth it again? I think so. I think it was worth it. I think I actually will probably make some improvements in time, but this took about 1 hour, all of this. Okay, then there's this. I start the motor, and it says oil change due. Now, this is an old 2003 dash, so it's all, it looks very dated and it's old school, but it still says oil change due right on the little digital display. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Certainly, though this is nearly a 20-year-old vehicle, isn't there something on the vehicle that says, oh, he just changed the oil, we're going to reset, and it's going to say oil life 100%. I'm like, that's fucked. So then I'm like, shit, well, this might be the tipping point as to why I need to take this to the shop as opposed to doing this myself. Because I don't want to ride around in this. Now I got to like find out how many miles are on this thing, and then reach out to Maze. How often should I change the oil? 3,000-4,000 miles. Well, now I got to do math, and I got to remember. I wish I had this thing telling me how much life is left in the oil. And then it dawns on me. Let's go to YouTube. So I go to YouTube, and I'm expecting it to say you got to hook up some type of device that you can only find at any auto mechanic shop like Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and EV, and they have to like push a button, and then it'll reset. But I was pleasantly surprised, and this I found to be ridiculous. I thought, there's no way this is true. I have to be getting pranked. Somebody made this video just so that an asshole like me would attempt this. And some of you probably know what I'm talking about. According to this video, for a 2003 Silverado, in the video, the guy says, all right, this is how you reset the oil life, change oil life display on the dash. You turn on the ignition. You don't start it, but you turn on the ignition. Turn on the ignition. All the lights light up on the dash. And then he says, and then you step on the gas 4 times. And then that's it. It'll reset. And I'm like, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. There's no way that that's even possible. 1 steppy, 2 steppy, 3 steppy, 4 steppy. Oil life, 100%. That's what you do? You have to step on the gas 4 times and you reset the dash? Oh, my God. I'm like, victory. This is awesome. That was the win I needed. And it's just ridiculous. Okay, it's awesome that in this day and age, I would have never have found that out. Ever. in a million years would I have known that. But okay, that's apparently a thing. Step on the gas 4 times, the damn thing resets. What other tricks are there in this vehicle that I don't know of? My God. Yeah, if I had owned that thing from 03 to now, I would have never have known that ever. That would have been finding out something new about a vehicle nearly 20 years after you get it. Incredible. You ever do that? You discover something on the vehicle that you had no idea it did that? Like on the dash, near where the air conditioner is, every car has this. There's a button with an arrow that does like a U-turn. You ever see that? So it's near where like the fan is or the AC. And if you push this button, it does something. And I never knew what that was. Every car has it. And I guess that what that means is the car is not letting any fresh air from outside of the vehicle into the car. So when you push that button, it makes sense that you hit that. Am I the only one that didn't know this? You push this button, and it's just going to keep the air in there, circulating in there, and no air from the out. So if you're driving through and there's like a giant forest fire and you don't want smoky air in the car, you push that button, and then it won't let in that air. Or if you're passing by the wastewater treatment plant or you detect skunk in the road, you push that button. If I would have known that, it would have saved myself a horrible experience when pulling out, driving in front of the wastewater treatment plant in Grand Rapids, Michigan. A truck, I've told the story before, was pulling out a semi-truck with tandem type of container beds with high walls. They had apparently cleaned out the portion of the water treatment facility where the actual solid mass is pulled out of the water, okay? All the particulates of feces and sludge and vomit, they collect in one spot. So basically, when you flush your toilet water, that water is going to be cleaned, and you're going to end up drinking that water after they clean it, which just is sickening to think about, but that's how you do it. Well, all those contaminants have to be removed, and then eventually there's some poor son of a bitch who has to get all the sludge and dump it into these trucks. And on that particular day, that truck, where God knows where he's going to get rid of this stuff, he pulls out right in front of me as I was coming home from work at the radio station, and I'll never forget it. It was a smell like I've never experienced in my life, and so for about a half mile, I'm behind this vehicle until he was able to get on the interstate, and then I was able to pass him. That short amount of time if I had pressed that button, then I would have saved myself the nauseating terribleness of all of that. I then drove home and the windows down, trying to get the smell out of the vehicle. But a smell that strong, it latches onto things with like claws on a microscopic level. I remember walking into the home. My face is green, and Diana, her back is to me as I walk in the room, and then she's suddenly like, and she turns around, she goes, "What's going on?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You walked in the room, and there's a smell of death in here." It was on me. It was in my pores, in my eyes, in my hair. I had known that you press that button and you can shut all that shit down. A little helpful hint from your old pal, Eric Zane. Okay. So on this intro, I wanted to cover that. One thing I wanted to mention yesterday and forgot to, and this will only apply to some of you who know what I'm talking about. But Ben and I have talked many times about, I know it's his favorite filmmaker, and it's one of mine. Christopher Nolan. Okay. Now, the thing about Christopher Nolan films, sometimes they get so damn wonky, you don't know what the fuck is going on. And I think the special effects and the action in some of these films makes it so that you don't care. The long list of films that he's made, I know he made, hold on a second. Let me actually get the body of work here. Christopher Nolan films. By the way, I got my eye on a wasp that is now in the studio with me on the inside of the glass. Oh, boy. Christopher Nolan films. Okay. There's a film called Memento, which is really good. Way back. I think that might have been his first. There's a great movie called The Prestige. Oh, I love that film. He did The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Interstellar, which, my God, I just love that movie. But it's that's perfect example of how of a mind fuck that you almost kind of lose track of what's going on. I like the films. I like who he has in the films, but there are specific times that I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Inception, another one of those. All right. I think the one that was easiest to follow was Dunkirk. This latest film that came out a handful of months ago is called Tenet. 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 Ben's talked about it on our podcast a couple episodes ago. I go, what did you think? He goes, well, it started and then it ended. I liked it, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on, even though he had watched a whole thing. And I'm like, okay. And so I started watching this, and I'm halfway through it right now. And I actually think that he is fucking with everybody and deliberately keeping shit out so that everyone is completely confused at any given point in this film. I got through the first half of this movie, and then I had to stop watching it because I had to go pick up my customers for limo work on Saturday. And I haven't picked it back up again. But I was so thoroughly confused that I looked at the wiki for the film to read as far as I've gotten in the plot, okay, to be able to get an idea of actually what is happening. And though reading it carefully, I am still quite confused as to how this is going. Okay? It is just a absolute mind fuck. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, who the fuck watches these movies? Okay, if you go to see a movie, let's say you're dating, okay, and you go out on a date with somebody and they understand what's going on, just know that they're out of your league. If they can follow a Christopher Nolan, this particular Christopher Nolan movie, this is nearly impossible. The dialogue, the jumps in time, and oh my God, it is. I don't get it. I would love to be able to interview this guy and say, so have you actually talked to anyone who understood what was going on in the film Tenet without having to go back and piece it all together bit by bit? I mean, this guy, sometimes filmmakers let you figure shit out on your own. Okay, David Chase, who did The Sopranos, and he ended it in that weird way when it just went to black and you have to like choose your own ending or whatever the fuck. And then everybody's like, wait, what the fuck just happened here? And then David Chase years later is like, well, it's all there. You just got to look for it. I mean, the argument could be made that everybody got killed in the diner. All right. Spoiler alert. David Chase is looking at Christopher Nolan and saying, what the fuck are you doing? Nobody knows what the fuck is going on in this movie. So I like it because I don't know. For some reason, there's just something cool about it. His films have a great way of captivating me in particular. I don't know if it's that way for everyone. But, man, is it an absolute mind fuck. Shoo. All right, the film Tenet. I'm completely clueless as to what's happening if I don't have the ability to read along with it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Okay. Candidate for governor, Caitlyn Jenner, is running as a Republican. She just launched her ad campaign. But by the way, that's going to trigger some of the Zaniacs to make snarky comments and call her a dude and shit like that. Before I get to that, comment on the film Tenet. Tenet, I walked out of that thinking I needed a hearing aid until my son said he was equally confused. And I'm glad you bring that up, Principal, because I'm like, wait a minute. They're either talking too fast or I just can't follow along with what they're saying. What the hell? As I look at the comments, before I get to my next story about Jenner, I see also that Daisy's face is right on Bruce's butt. And that is making some of the folks say, what the hell is going on here? In the name of all that's holy, move those dogs. I can't unsee it now. No, she's sleeping. You're just going to have to get used to it. Tyler says, I love Nolan's movies. Haven't seen a handful of them, but they're on my watch list. Yeah, Tenet's going to drive you up a wall. Better to watch, several minutes of it and then read along. Canine Centipede. All right. So, governor of the state of California, that's what Caitlyn Jenner wants to be. Check this out. I can't get past the voice because she still has the voice of Bruce Jenner. And it's like this man's voice. And if Caitlyn Jenner were back to being Bruce Jenner, it's still a weird voice. And it's even more weird when it's flying out of this stunningly beautiful woman that is Caitlyn Jenner. I know you guys always think I'm crazy when I say that, but I really think for a 70-something-year-old person, Caitlyn Jenner is quite pretty. I think that Caitlyn Jenner has all the money in the world for the surgery and all the money in the world for the best makeup artist. So for a 70-year-old lady, I think she's very pretty. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. All right.
California needs a disruptor, a compassionate disruptor.
This morning, reality TV star, gold medalist, and activist Caitlyn Jenner is kicking off her bid for governor of California. Debuting her first campaign.
All right, maybe she's not a knockout, but I'm just saying for 70 years old, she looks good. I'm not attracted to her. I'm just saying she's a little bit pretty, okay? Kind of pretty. Kent says she looks like Steven Tyler. Well, Steven Tyler's a little pretty.
Reality TV star, gold medalist, and activist Caitlyn Jenner is kicking off her bid for governor of California. Debuting her first campaign ad exclusively to ABC News.
California is facing big hurdles. Now we need leaders who are unafraid to leap to new heights.
By the way, they're showing Caitlyn Jenner when it was Bruce Jenner, when best athlete in the world. I mean, there is no mistaking. Caitlyn Jenner as Bruce Jenner, absolutely legendary Olympic performance. Nick writes, I'm excited for Jenner to run as a Republican. It's going to be funny watching Democrats trying to run a smear campaign. And he writes on him, it's a girl, okay? You still got to say it. Say it right. It's a chick, for God's sake. Yeah, I am too. And they're all in this story, they're going to detail how Jenner is already doing Republican-like stuff, but I kind of support, and I mean, I've said, when it comes to athletics, that they should let transgender athletes compete. Like if a guy becomes a girl should be able to compete against a guy. And when I said that, I'm talking about the high school track meet and shit like that. And, because I want to see the girls actually beat the guys that are trying to be girls. I actually want to see the girls say, oh, you want to be a chick? I'm going to rub your nose in shit. Here you go. I want to see that. Jenner, though, does not like the idea of guys who become girls competing against girls and girls who become guys trying to compete as guys. That's one of the things Jenner is not down with. And so the Democrats are pissed off about that. They're saying, you're supposed to be woke. You're transgender. And he's like, bullshit. I don't give a shit if I am a girl. There's no place for this in sports.
Right. He wants the world record. Who are unafraid to challenge and to change the status quo.
Before coming out as a trans woman in 2015, Jenner first found fame as an Olympic athlete, setting the world record in the decathlon, but running as a Republican to replace Democrat Gavin Newsom in the deep blue state of California might be the most difficult competition Jenner has ever faced.
I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat. I'm running to be governor for all California.
It's actually an annoying man voice.
I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat. I'm running to be governor for all Californians.
2017, she told Diane Sawyer that even though her views on transgender issues didn't
Nick says that I referred to her as a he. Damn it. Shit.
line up with the GOP platform, she was a loyal Republican to a point.
You mess with my community. You don't give us equality and a fair shot. I'm coming after you.
But just days into her campaign, Jenner is now being accused of betraying the transgender community. Over the weekend, she seemed to side with a recent Republican-led wave of legislation to limit transgender rights in at least 31 states.
So then the camera crew is following her as she's walking out of something like that, and she takes off her mask and makes a comment about that, like really informally, and she takes a stand.
Telling TMZ she supports barring trans female athletes from girls' sports in schools.
This is a question of fairness. That's why I oppose biological boys who are trans competing in girls' sports in school. It just isn't fair.
For any Republican running for governor of California is a long shot, but the last Republican to get elected governor was, like Jenner, a celebrity running in a runoff election. And George, that is exactly what's going on here. That, of course, was Arnold Schwarzenegger, who won nearly 2 decades ago.
Right back in 2003. John Carl, thanks very much. Rob?
And George, now to that.
All right, so let me ask you this. If all you knuckle draggers who are listening, who can't stand her and make stupid, snarky comments because Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner, let me ask you this. Let's say she comes out. I mean, she's a Republican, all right? And you have to choose, okay, in Michigan in particular, you've got Governor Whitmer, okay? And the folks who are on the right are like, oh, my God, we hate Whitmer. She's a piece of shit. She's the worst. So if you had to choose, let's say Caitlyn Jenner was here in Michigan and said, I'm running for governor of Michigan as a Republican. I'm going to put on my high heels and curl my hair and put on my makeup, and I am going to, thin blue line, fuck Black Lives Matter, and fuck the COVID shot, and all that other shit. I mean, I'm here for freedom, patriots, end tyranny, storm the Capitol. Okay, and she puts on, here's my MAGA hat, Trump 2024. Are you knuckle draggers going to vote for her? I mean, that puts you in a weird spot. I mean, there are people who are going to be all fucked up with Caitlyn Jenner running as a Republican, like, fuck, man, I don't want to vote for a queer. Shit, but I'm confused because she supports he or she or whatever the fuck she is, supports all the things I like steak and trucks and shit like that. I mean, what are you going to do? You guys are in a world of hurt there. That might make your heads explode. All right? So I want to pick the brain of the usual suspects, okay? Of how you feel if this hypothetical was put before you. How would you vote for Caitlyn Jenner if she aspired to support all of the things that you believe in that a candidate should have? All right? Would you vote for her? Or would you go, oh boy, man, I don't know. Come on, throw a vote my way. It's a vote for equality and patriots. All right. Raise your hand virtually in the comments with, would you vote for Caitlyn Jenner? Nathan says, hell yeah. but he spells it HE apostrophe LL. Heel, yeah. All right. Hey, I've got merch for sale, and I want you to check it out. EricZaneShow.com. Click on merch. Get yourself a T-shirt. It does help the show. Hey, you're wearing a show with wearing a shirt with the name of my show on it. Check it out. EricZaneShow.com. Click on merch. All the different styles, different types of things to wear, hoodies, T-shirts, different types of T-shirts, baseball jerseys, coffee mugs, stickers, you name it. It's all at EricZaneShow.com when you click on merch. And the open and the live stream of this show brought to you this time around by Blue Frost IT. BlueFrostIT.com. If you have anything tech related, either for the home, if you're working from home, for the business, if you run a business, small or medium-sized business, if you're planning on moving your business and you want to upgrade your tech, oh man, you need a complimentary consultation as to how this works. How they can get everything started for you, whether you're retrofitting the office or moving to a new one. You're going to need new networks. You're going to need new wall drops. You're going to need everything new. New. Get a complimentary consultation. Have the pros at Blue Frost IT walk you through it as to how you can get exactly what you need for your office, all right? Because, when you sit down with a pro from Blue Frost IT, they're asking you business needs, what type of business it is, so you're going to get specifics of what type of hardware and software you need on your computer so that you're not just going in blind and buying anything from some big box store. Work with the pros at Blue Frost IT. Reach out to them. Email info@bluefrostit.com, or you can call them 616-200-8550. For the entertainment, Cornhole America. Their website, cornholeamerica.com. Check them out online. Get yourself a brand new set of professional grade quality boards that will last you forever. Going to cost you anywhere between $170 to $220. The $170 boards features the logo of Cornhole America on them. That's fine if you want, or customized with whatever you want. Your own beautiful face on it if you want. CornholeAmerica.com can quite literally put anything you want onto a set of cornhole boards. Even the bags can be custom made with your face on the bags. If you go to CornholeAmerica.com, search bar Eric Zane Show, my boards show up if that's what you want to buy. Whatever you get from them, please mention my name, Eric Zane, when you reach out to my friends at CornholeAmerica.com. Shipping boards anywhere in the United States, but based right here in Michigan, the beautiful community of Cedar Springs, okay, where they love Caitlyn Jenner. All right, my friends at Bennett Flooring Installation want you to call upon them when you're ready to put the flooring down. You've done everything in the room. You've pulled up the old flooring. You've painted. These are all things I have to do downstairs. Diana keeps bugging me about, giving me tons of shit about. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where the flooring comes down or goes down. You're going to need it put down. If you're a little unsure with your skills, like I am completely unsure with my skills, I have no skills, have the flooring put down by the pros at Bennett Flooring Installation. Doing it this way saves you a ton of money because you're doing just about everything leading up to this point. All they take care of is putting the flooring down expertly. Saves you a lot of money. Reach out to them anywhere in West Michigan. They will show up and measure the room and let you know how much it's going to cost you, and then that's it. 616-318-0167. Make sure you mention my name when you call Jacob Bennett. 616-318-0167 for Bennett Flooring Installation, online at BennettFlooringInstallation.com. News broke overnight. What's that Tammy Wynette song? DIVORC became final today. Oh, my God. Everybody's getting a damn divorce. That's rough sledding, man. Bill and Melinda Gates are calling it quits after 27 years. I oftentimes wonder how people grow apart after that much time. Anything over 20 years, how does that even happen? My God. I mean, we don't know shit about the relationship. I mean, he might be a crazy son of a bitch. I don't think so. Boy, who do you think cheated? I don't ever buy the idea of we just grew apart. In my mind, everyone always cheats. It's always a cheating scenario. Either they're actually in a relationship with another person physically, or they've established a dialogue with another person electronically. And, the third person in is providing all of the things that the original partner cannot provide anymore. A lending ear, whatever it may be. For some reason, I'm always in that mindset. I'm always convinced, though, that it's a two-way street. It's up to the couple. It's up to the couple to stay involved in each other's lives. It's described as orbits. So let's say you've got 4 or 5 orbits. Maybe your golf buddies, your work orbit, your home orbit, volunteer orbit, whatever you do. Podcasting orbit. It's important to keep the partner in most of those orbits to some degree. If you start to drift out, like your orbits don't intersect as much as they used to, intimacy, one of those orbits, obviously probably the biggest one, and emotional connection. As soon as those orbits kind of start to drift out and they don't intersect as much, you're just, it's almost like it's that whole drifting apart thing. And then once you do that, I'm convinced that one or both of the people, the need that is not being fulfilled either emotionally or physically, it's going to be met sometime when the right interaction takes place. And in an instant, one or both of the people can be sharing something that they shouldn't be sharing with a person that's inappropriate. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, I found my soulmate. Oh, I'm so happy now. Oh my God, this is the greatest. Because you see, these two have left each other's orbits. I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm not saying these two for sure, but I'm guessing this is how it went. You leave the orbit and all of a sudden you're starting to lose commonality with your spouse. So then, it's up to the two to do that. And then as soon as they let their guards down and they let other things distract them and the orbits get farther and farther apart, and oh my God, you're not sharing no shared experiences. You're going to share it with somebody. Oh, hey, Paul in accounting's really sympathetic. This is what happens a lot of times. You see like a woman or a guy goes to work and he's having trouble fighting with his wife because the orbits are spreading out, but he has no idea because he didn't listen to the Eric Zane Show podcast. He has no idea about this expert marriage advice. So dummy goes to work and he starts to confide in somebody at work who's just say, hey, Paul, you look down. So Janet over in the other one of the other offices at work is lending an ear to Paul. And Paul's like, oh my God, I can't believe it's just been a terrible time. I've been fighting with my wife and she's lending an ear and she's sympathetic and she's listening to him. All of a sudden, Paul, his wiener starts to raise off the sack a little bit when he's talking to Janet, and he's like, oh man, I'm starting to get aroused with Janet here. And Janet is now invested emotionally. So all of a sudden there's like a little bit of a smolder between Janet and Paul. So then time passes a few days, maybe a few more texts. And finally Paul shares with Janet that he feels something for Janet. And the next thing you know, she's letting him do anal. That's usually how this unfolds. So now he's got this woman who's sharing stuff with him and connecting with her emotionally. He's found his soulmate in 1 week's time, and she's giving him anal. So then he's like, oh man, well, fuck this. This is terrible with my wife. I've got to. So then he starts to really pour on the gas and breaking up the marriage because he's found his soulmate. So then he's cold to her, but he's torn. Oh my God. And he's not thinking clearly and everything goes to hell. And the next thing you know, they're out on the skids. And then it's all just pain and anguish, and the kids are upset, and all because you two didn't want to stay in your orbits. And this is a two-way street. It's never, ever just one person's fault. The two need to work at the marriage. This is what I'm talking about here. All right. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been with Diana for 32 years. All right. I cannot imagine ever not being with her. Holy crap. We have been through everything. You name it, we've been through it. In the interest of full disclosure, I will disclose to you not all of the disclosure. We have been through things that are so terrible, you were like, wait, what? Huh? I mean, you would not believe the shit we have been through. I mean, seriously, I was hanging on by a thread. You might be like, what? What are you talking about? No, that's true. I was hanging on by a thread a number of years ago. And somehow we navigated the waters, and now we're connected at the hip. I mean, we are just absolutely the best for each other. Bill and Melinda, they're wrapping it up. God knows what happened. So I don't believe ever. We've just decided that we're no longer in love. Something happened, similar to what I just described to you. It's a tale as old as time. Somebody's mind is not into the marriage. Okay? And that's how it goes. I'm going to spare you all the typical bullshit of the press release. If this said, just refer to Eric Zane, that would be the truth. Check out the Eric Zane Show podcast for what happened to us. So as I sit here, I open up my phone and I've got the calculator out. I need a piece of paper to take notes. All right. So this is where life gets weird. Now for Bezos, when he got divorced, because this same thing happened, for some reason, it was at about the same time that Amazon was it's still exponentially growing. So his worth is still staggering. And it's, I believe, still the highest of all the richest people in the world. If not, it's usually up there. The Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates, have been they've been very giving of their money, which is good. But right away, Mrs. Gates is now worth $68.5 billion. And so we started at $137 billion, and now that's divided in half. So Mrs. Gates now has $68.5 billion to play with. Okay. So that's going to put a dent in the old ranking. And, what's interesting about divorce is it always is when you see people who get divorced, so they might like overcompensate. Because for me, I'll tell you this right now. If anything happened to Diana, or I'm suddenly alone, or she ran into some super attractive black guy who's 25 years old, and I was completely outgunned, and she ran away with him, and I'm alone, okay? There's no way in hell I am going to be in any type of relationship, maybe not ever, it would be that destructive to my mind that it would be absolutely unfair, in my opinion, if I tried to devote any amount of that type of energy towards another human, because it just wouldn't be fair. I wouldn't be comfortable even because I'd be constantly thinking about Diana. I mean, my God, just how I feel, at least right now. Thank God that's not happening. If it did, though, the idea of people who, like Bill Gates, if he then in a handful of months starts dating someone else, he's probably going to be, oh, my God, I found her. Well, we all know what's going to happen. Within a year, he's going to be, quote unquote, in love again. By a year and a half, he's going to ask her to marry him. And then 2 years from now, he will get married. So then 3 years from that, he will get divorced. And that means that $68.5 billion, he's now worth $34 billion. So what was $137 billion 5 years earlier, or 3 years earlier, is now whittled down to minus $103 billion. Now, this is not to mention the monthly amount of money that you have to give for alimony. Now, I don't know about the ages of kids with Bill's 65. I'm guessing he doesn't have any young kids or anything like that. But this is shitty. This is why you fucking make it work. Make this shit. That's one of many reasons why you make it work. Because if you have a lot of money, now I'm not saying he'll ever be hard up for money, but let's just say the average dude who makes $100,000 a year. Okay, let's say $200,000 a year. All right, and he's got $5 million in the bank. $5 million divided by 2, suddenly he's got half of that, $2.5 million, and then the second divorce comes around, 2.5 divided by 2. Now he's sitting at $1.25 million, and then he's still got to pay all these women. Holy shit. Stay with your wives. Don't talk to any women. Just fucking stay in the orbits. Do the things you're supposed to do with her. Laugh. Have a good time. Keep it simple. And do not stray. I can promise you one of these two jackasses strayed. It always works out. I don't give a shit what anybody tells you. If there is a divorce going down, one or both of the people involved are licking an asshole of someone else. I can promise you. Just my opinion. So that broke overnight. Bill and Melinda Gates, done. All right, moving on. As always, by the way, you can reach out to me, eric@ericzaneshow.com. If you have any comments about anything I talk about, even if it's way late, you can always reach out to me. Okay, I meant to get to this yesterday, did not, and I'm kind of regretting it. I wish I would have talked about it then, but better late than never. So Kid Rock has a bar in Nashville, which, by the way, apparently in that part of the country, it's Tornado Alley today. So good luck to any of you who are experiencing that. Please be careful. This is the time of year when air masses are meeting, spawning tornadoes, so please be safe. Hope you're okay. Let's see. Aaron, Melinda, Kenny, off the top of my head. The Nashville Zaniacs. Christy, Casey, John, Carrie, Aaron. By the way, of these Zaniacs that are from Tennessee, I wonder how many of them are still Zaniacs. Ethan signed this, Katie, Thomas, Aaron. I don't recognize those four. I mean, I haven't heard from them. Also, Casey, John, and Ken. And maybe Christy. How come I don't hear from you guys? Melinda, Jessica, her name's on this. Kenny is on this, and Aram is on this. I hear from you guys regularly. The rest of you, what the fuck is going on in your worlds? You can't just sign that thing, be behind me, and then not participate in the show. Would you please let me know what's going on? Where have you been? Okay, the name of Kid Rock's bar is called Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Rock and Roll Steakhouse. It's a little clumsy on the sign. Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Rock and Roll Steakhouse. Can't you just say Kid Rock Steakhouse? I mean, I don't know. By the way, when I was talking about White Boy Rick yesterday, he had a parole hearing that he was denied in the early 2000s. And a former Michigan drug dealer spoke on his behalf, a guy who no longer deals drugs. And, you're allowed to have people do like character assessments and speak on your behalf in order to try to get parole. So the people that are at the hearing, the people that are going to decide on whether white boy Rick gets out or not. And they ended up saying, no, he can't get out at the time. He's out now. This guy walks up and he goes, yeah, hello. And he introduces himself and he says, I'm not here because I'm famous. I'm here to talk about why I think he needs to be let out. And you know where this is going? It's freaking Kid Rock speaking on behalf of white boy Rick. And he just drove himself. There was no entourage. He just walked in and said, this is why you need to let this man free, which is cool. But then it had to be a bummer for Kid Rock because he says, yeah, I'm not just here because I'm famous or something like that. And then one of the people that were on the parole board, they said, who are you? They had no idea who he was. I guess they weren't familiar. And he goes, I'm Kid Rock. Ball with the ball, the bag of dick. Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Rock and Roll Steakhouse was the place to be. My favorite place, my favorite online source for news in the Nashville area. Scoop pointed out that there was an incident. People were saying there's a guy who's being disruptive outside of the establishment. Police show up. According to the scanner, unit needs a transport car at Kid Rock and an ambulance and a sergeant. Nashville scanner began their Twitter thread. Quote, male suspect opened his pants and pulled out his colostomy bag and started swinging it at others. Some units, meaning officers, have feces on them. Okay, now, if ever there was a time in a day and an age when you turn around and hear about some innocent black guy getting shot, this is actually encouraged. If I'm a cop and anybody, white or black, dumps the contents of their shit bag on me, you're getting shot a lot. Holy shit. The guy he pulls it out and he's whipping it like Wonder Woman and her lasso. And then it's just like spurts of brown are going all over the place. He's like over his head. Yeehaw! Fucking Roy Rogers. Oh my God. Using a colostomy bag as a weapon. Okay. Is it now in Grand Rapids here? There's a dude is seen quite regularly walking around with a colostomy bag. And when you see this guy coming, you want to get on the other side of the street because he's gonna harass you for money. Oh, my God, the fact that he's just out walking around. Dispatch also advising Central was out twice with this unit tonight. Keeps refusing medical. Newsweek independently confirmed with the police in Nashville that a John Doe was arrested over the weekend after causing a public disturbance with his colostomy bag. Defendant was outside drunk, holding a bottle of beer, blocking the outside emergency exit door at Kid Rock's. My God, people that show up at Kid Rock's, though, they're probably, they smelled as bad going into that place than they do after the shit lands on them, if you want. I mean, honestly. Kid Rock's like, no big deal. They told the defendant to leave, but he refused. And can you imagine being the cop having to bring this guy down? The guy's got a fucking colostomy bag that's to me more dangerous than a gun or a knife. A colostomy bag. Swinging it around from left to right, hitting two of the Metro Police officers with his feces. Quote, Dude was charged with assault on the two Metro Police officers, disorderly. It should be he's charged with attempted murder. Can you imagine the amount or how intense the dry heaving would be if this happened to you, if you were on the receiving end of this guy swinging his fucking colostomy bag at you? Oh, Jesus. Some units and patrons have been assaulted with feces, and at least one officer has left work to change clothes. Why, in God's name, in this day and age, would you ever say, you know what? I want to be a police officer. Okay, let's add cop to the list of jobs that require a big, big pay raise. Caregiver, wiping asses, teachers, and cop in Nashville, Tennessee, who's getting feces strewn onto him. Oh, and that isn't like I mean, if you think about it, the feces in a bag seems a million times worse than what's flying out of the tap, 2 girls, 1 cup style. As soon as the feces gets to a level where it's like, you know, all blended up nicely in a thick porridge-like substance, when it becomes liquefied, that's a million times worse than getting the big turds out of the tap. Okay, you know, some of you Zaniacs probably think that's sexy, but not me. So yeah, if you had to grade the actual poop comparatively in a bag in liquefied form to out of the tap in nugget form, the bag, if you had to choose, okay, I'm giving you all sorts of different choices today. Would you choose Republican Caitlyn Jenner over super uber left Democratic candidate, or would you take 2 girls, 1 cup nugget feces and bag feces? Which one would you choose? You have to choose. My God. Horrible. Avoid guy with colostomy bag. And God help any of you that have one. Keep that shit covered. All right. Hey, I would love you to contribute to the show. Anytime you have a story that you think I would have fun talking about, or is something that I would just be interested in, please copy the link and send it to me. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. I wish I had the ability to be on every source getting all the best stories to talk about. But if you see one that you like on your news sources, send it along. Okay? Dirk is one of the key contributors of this show. And the thing about Dirk is it's a mixed bag. He'll send me good stories to talk about, and then he'll send me stories about Joe Biden that he thinks are bullshit and that or whatever conspiracy theory he's sending me. One of the ones that he's really in on is that Dirk has a tendency to believe, everything he believes is crazy, but he sends me one periodically that the entire January 6th insurrection that Trump caused, it was not caused by Trump, and that everybody there knew it was coming, and they did nothing because they wanted to perpetuate some type of terrible behavior by the MAGA supporters. And he sends me that one from time to time, and I just roll my eyes. I'm like, come on, man. So now I've gotten in the habit of sending shit back to him. Like there was one story that said country optimistic after Biden's first 100 days. A large number of Americans are let me see the actual headline. Nearly 2/3 of Americans say the country is headed in the right direction. All right. So that's just what they said. Okay. And I wrote, hey, apparently Biden's off to a great start. USA. Dirk writes, his voters are as clueless as he is. And then he sends me another clip of Biden losing his way while he's reading, which is always hysterical. And then I start trolling him and write, oh, come on. Ever since he started Operation Warp Speed, he's been crushing it. Now, I know full well Trump started Operation Warp Speed, but all I have to do is send that to him, and he's like, oh, fuck. He sends me an image of a troll doll. Then there's the story. AP fact check. Biden overstates how many Americans are immunized. Again, story from the AP, and he did do that. I wrote, more proof that the red-leaning media is against Biden. Biden administration to reunite 4 migrant families. Oh. More proof conservative media like NBC hates Biden. He writes, fuck it, best president ever. I'm going to buy a new boat today. My point is, send me stories. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. All right. My pal Jason Mays, who would vote for Caitlyn Jenner if she believed all the things he believes. At Ionia Outdoors is where you can buy AMSOIL products in person. The best way to do it, though, is go to jmsynthetics.com. All right, I need this, this, and this, and then call Jason or reach out to him via email, 616-747-0233. Jason, I need 2 gallons of oil and an oil filter and a thing to remove the oil filter. All right, and then that's it. It's going to show up on your doorstep after you pay him. Good to go. JM Synthetics. Buy AMSOIL products from Jason Mays. jmsynthetics.com. When you support him, you're supporting me, as is the case with all of my sponsors. jmsynthetics.com, 616-747-0233. Part of that group of Saranac shit kickers included in that BK Guns and Stuff, Benjamin and Kyle, the gunsmith husband and wife team. I know, wait, Benjamin and Kyle. Yes, Kyle's a lady. It's not like guy-on-guy action there. BK Guns and Stuff. Get your weaponry repaired, cleaned, serviced in any way, customized work, all with BK Guns and Stuff. The gunsmith of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast, 616-902-2447. If you want to get to their Facebook page, click on their logo at ericzaneshow.com. All right. What's going on with this crew? Dirk says, not anymore. Not sending you any politics anymore. No, you have to, because then I'm going to feel bad if I send you politics. You got to send me more politics, Dirk, because then how am I going to be able to talk about you if you don't send me your political nonsense that no one believes from your Black Ops helicopter buddies and whatever conspiracy theories? The one about January 6th was an inside job or whatever it is you said. That's like one of my favorites. Are you one of those people who believes that 9/11, that no planes flew into the building or something like that? What is that called? A false flag? Are you a Sandy Hook was a hoax guy? All right. I can't pick up the comments. I want to hear Dirk's theory on alien life. Principled says, Amanda, please, in the name of God, tell me you're not trans. What? Dirk says, Trump didn't cause it. Yeah, he did. Are you crazy? He told those guys to go there and march. Did you not hear what he said, Dirk? Come on. Legit link I sent showed that Capitol Police knew it was going to happen and didn't do anything. All right. Sure. My kids are confused. They expect every president to be funny, Principled writes. Josh says, I heard him during his speech say, I need to stop talking before I get in trouble. Well, yeah, it's because he can't fucking talk. Everybody knows that. Who doesn't know that? What president has been able to speak? Every single president sounds like an idiot, okay? You go back to George W. Oh, my God, the gas that guy said, holy shit. I could pull you 100 clips of Trump sounding like a moron. And you knuckle draggers are sitting there saying, he can't be president because he doesn't know what the fuck. Well, of course he doesn't know what he's talking about. You think he of course he can't talk. All you have to do is go back in the rich history of presidents. They can never talk. Jesus. Mays says Ionia Outdoors is having a swap meet style sale on Saturday, May 22nd. We will be there with a booth set up. Come out and check out the sale. All right. So put on your MAGA hat. Go see these folks over at Ionia Outdoors. Food trucks on site as well. Get yourself some freedom fries, a Trump burger. Nope, done. Send you tons of legit stories, and you paint me as a conspiracy nut. What are you talking about? Well, at least send me fun stories, okay? It's not a fucking stutter. It's dementia. Nick has diagnosed Biden as having dementia. Wow. You heard it here first. Joe Biden has dementia because he stumbles over words and sounds like an idiot. I guess they all have dementia then. Come on, you guys. Are you crazy? Do you really believe that the president has dementia? That's insane. I don't buy that. Okay, here come the cicadas. Okay, now it's called Brood X. We've talked about this before. They are devilish looking creatures. Brood X, and just the term Brood X, it just sounds incredibly sinister to me. And I hope this isn't a letdown, that these cicadas that are supposed to be emerging very, very soon, I hope I can experience the noise. Now, I've been through this before. I remember when I was in New Jersey 16 or 17 years ago when they emerged, and it was incredible. It was so damn loud. And to me, the fact that they have this blueprint in their brain to know, all right, it's time to go out into the world, and the existence is just, all right, they come out around you and me, make a hell of a lot of noise, and then they have sex, and then they go into the ground, they lay the eggs or whatever they do, and then that's it. That's the only reason why they're there. What other function do they? I mean, I imagine if you're like a bird and you've been used to getting little teeny tiny bugs, and all of a sudden you see this giant cicada, my God, you're going to be like smorgasbord. These strangest looking things with gigantic wings. They say they're harmless, but my daughter, Jacqueline, who is deathly afraid of any type of bug, if a cicada landed on her, I think she might have a heart attack. We made a mistake years ago of going up to probably the biggest tourist scam in the world. It's called Mackinac Island here in Michigan, and wandered into the butterfly exhibit, and that's when we got a firsthand discovery that she is scared. I think that's where we actually scarred her, because these things landed on her. The butterflies are huge there, and you get this rare monarch butterfly or whatever lands on her arm, and she smacks the shit out of it and kills it, and then the thing flutters to the ground. I'm like, oh God, we got to get out of here. She's going to murder every butterfly in here with her temper tantrum. The fuck out. Mackinac Island is the biggest tourist trap disaster that you've ever been to. If you've come to Michigan and someone says, oh my God, you have got to go to Mackinac Island. Oh my God. It is the absolute worst. There's no cars there. You have to travel at like 1 mile an hour in like a horse and buggy, or get on a bike. The whole island smells like horse shit because all those horses do is shit everywhere, and they don't have enough help to clean up the shit. And there is absolutely nothing to do except eat overpriced food, walk around this stupid island, and buy and eat fudge. There is nothing inexpensive about it. Even just getting there, and the ferry ride costs an arm and a leg. I'm like, if I'm going to spend this much money, I want to be in someplace exotic. And there's no point. There's no place to really go in the water. There's no real beaches or anything because you're on this fucking rocky island surrounded by rocks. The water's like 41 degrees. Oh, God. Absolutely shitty. All right, I completely digress. Cicadas. Over the next few weeks, along the East Coast and the Midwest, the cicadas will emerge from the ground, shed their skins, and partake in a month-long mating ritual. They climb the trees, they sing mating songs, sounds like Zaniacs, as loud as 100 decibels. That is the same intensity as a jackhammer. Holy crap. Trillions, with a T, trillions of cicadas that will be emerging, singing, calling, finding mates in your backyard. My God. There are a dozen known broods of cicadas in the U.S. categorized by when they emerge together from the ground. Brood X is considered one of the largest, makes its appearance like clockwork every 17 years. So that means at about this time in 2004. Okay, that would mean that we were finishing up our tenure in New Jersey and getting ready to move. So I could see why I would be distracted and barely remember this. But I distinctly remember leaving the radio station in Princeton, New Jersey, and hearing it and then talking about it, and then that was it. But I think most of my time was trying to get out of this fucking contract from these scam artists from Nassau Broadcasting. I'll never forget that. Oh, that was rough. In fact, let's go back in time. This was seriously so fucked up. We had signed this contract with this company in New Jersey. Now, it's typical in radio that if you're in a contract, there's no way you can get out of a contract and move within the market to another radio station. You can't just get out of it, and plus you have a non-compete. If you ever say, hey, by the way, I want to get out of my contract, most radio companies would let you out, but they would enforce the non-compete, and ours was long. We had a long non-compete. So we couldn't, Freebeer Hot Wings, Greg, Freebeer Hot Wings and Eric, we could not just stop working and go to another radio station. However, we wanted to move to Michigan. So radio company in Michigan, GRD, Region Communications, reached out to us, and we're like, okay, this is a chance to get back to Michigan, man. We would love that. And it was a lateral move paycheck-wise, the only difference being that it costs a lot less to live in Michigan. So the cicadas are singing, chirping, and we're excited because we're going to move to Michigan. We're going to take this job at GRD. In the process, I fly to Michigan alone, look for a house, find a house, buy the house, and we're committed. Go back. We're going to put in our notice and say we're ending the contract. We're moving out of state. We're terminating our relationship with you. We talked to our lawyer. His name is Mike Novak. God rest his soul. And he's like, you should have no problem. This happens all the damn time. No big deal. We talked to a guy named Don DeLessio. Nice guy. Really, really nice guy. And we go, Don, we want to get out of this. We want to move back. And he goes, is it money? We'll give you more money. Nope. Don't want any more money. Want to get out of here. Want to go back to our homes. My wife was ecstatic about this because her dad was now alone because Diana's mom had died a few years earlier. So she looked at this as a great way to be closer to her family. Okay, so that's it. All set to move from Jersey to Michigan. Michelle Stevens, who I'm now friendly with, for a long time I wasn't because of this moment in time. She goes, hey, can I see you guys? She calls us into her office. And we sit down next to her, and she slides across the desk. I'll never forget it because she actually slid it across, really deliberate. One sheet for Eric, one sheet of paper for Greg, one sheet of paper for Chris. And in 3 paragraphs, it says, we are enforcing the contract. You cannot leave. If you decide to leave, we will sue you, and we will sue your employer for tampering, your new employer for tampering. So we had to tell Regent in Grand Rapids, hey, this is happening. So they pull the offer off the table. They said, we are not in a position where we want to be sued. So we are now out. So this fucks everything up. Everything. Novak, the lawyer, gets in the phone with these people. He goes, how do you expect these guys to stay? I mean, this is not good. They said, well, we don't give a shit what's good and what's bad. We're enforcing the contract. We are protecting. We just spent a lot of money marketing the show. We don't feel this is fair. And you know what? I kind of see it. I kind of understand. So that was that. So we filed a restraining order, and then there's a lawsuit, a restraining order, and then Novak says, you need to have a lawyer who's in Jersey who can help you, and I got just the guy. Who is it? His name is Jules Zallen. I wonder if Jules is still alive. Oh, yeah, what do you know about Jules? Well, he's great. While you're sitting there listening to cicadas chirping, oh, my God, he represented some of the biggest names in music. Dave Matthews Band, Styx. I'm like, well, Styx? Who gives a shit about Styx? Oh, come on, Styx is a great band. He's great. He'll get you out of this. So we talked to this guy, Jules. And I think, on name alone, this guy sounds like a lawyer. Jules Zallen. I wonder if he's retired now or still alive. Jules Zallen, lawyer. He's in California now. I don't know. It says he's in New Jersey, New York. I think he's still practicing. Jules will take care of you. We meet with Jules. He's got an approach about how he wants to handle this thing with Nassau Broadcasting in New Jersey. And so we're on those two stations there. We didn't make any money for being on two stations. We just were on. They just paid us for the one contract. They were taking advantage of us. That's how it is in radio. We were on the one station, and then they on 105.7 The Hawk, and then they put us on the Trenton station, 94.5 The Hawk. And okay, great. And then they moved that to 97.5, I think. I forget now. It's all blur. So we're on two stations. We didn't make any more money. And so Jules is like, yeah, they're taking advantage of you. I'll get you out of the contract. Jules, when he picks us up on the day to go to court, shows up in a van, but not like a cool van or a nice transport van. It's actually like a 1972 a mural of a wolf with a round window in the back corner rape van. And we're like, what the fuck? And you open up the van, the sliding door, and it's got this really worn shag carpet on the floor and going up the walls of the van with those weirdo, absurd kid rape captain chairs, cloth seats, just looking like shit. And we're like, what the fuck? And you get in there and it smells like, a baby blood. And you're like, where are we here? We get in the van. Jules slams the door. We're never getting out of this thing, man. And Jules goes down to the state courthouse in Princeton. We're like, oh, fuck. And so we walk into the courtroom, and we see the attorneys for Nassau. And these two people, they're looking mean. I remember the lawyer team for Nassau. We used to see him in the office all the time. It's a guy and a girl. The lead, and then the young chick, and she's hot. I'll never forget that, because you had the lead guy for Nassau and they had two lawyers in the building, and the chick, and we called her Stripper because I think she was a dancer or something like that at one point, but she was like, I think she paid her way through law school by being a stripper. I think that's what the rumor was. And she was also a swinger, from what I was told. So anyway, they're there, and Jules walks in, and kind of perfected the voice over the years, but he actually sounded like, Your Honor, my clients here are looking to get out of their contract as they are being held in unjustly by the plaintiffs over here. And Jules, he was late or something like that. He didn't file the right paperwork, so the judge was annoyed. So the judge is like, Mr. Zallen, it's not on the docket here. Oh, well, it should be. I filed all the necessary things. Yeah, and so you're going to have to go file. So I'll be right back. And he walks out, and then it takes like 20 minutes. We're sitting there. The judge is getting annoyed. Judge goes, somebody come get me when this is ready. And he leaves, so, we're fucked. Jules comes walking back in. He might as well have had toilet paper on the back of his shoe. He just looks like shit, smells like baby blood from the van. And he walks up to the yes, Your Honor, yeah, so here. And he like, and the judge is like way annoyed. And Jules says this thing, and the judge has already written out. He has already made a decision. We had no chance. And we were soundly defeated. We got our asses kicked. And so we now have to stay in New Jersey. We will not be going to Michigan. If we don't go to Michigan, the Freeburn Hot Wings show never becomes a Freeburn Hot Wings show. So in the only good move that Jules ever made, because he was the worst lawyer ever, we're quite literally on the actual steps of the state courthouse in Princeton, New Jersey. And Greg is fuming. He's given, everybody the old passive-aggressive work of art, which, well, that was a regular thing anyway, so that was normal. But he's losing his mind. Chris is staring off, and I'm just like, oh, boy, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. Jules, in the only good thing ever that this guy has ever done, wanders over to the stripper and the lead attorney, and he says, so, what the hell are you guys going to do? My clients don't want to work for you. So what for crying out loud, in the name of all things that is holy today, what are you going to do for these guys? What's going to happen? And their attorney goes, well, they can leave tomorrow if they let us syndicate the show. What? Yeah, they can leave tomorrow. Now, no one has ever uttered a word of this, ever. And we spent thousands of dollars on fuckface Jules for this. The money that we didn't have. And we're like, well, why didn't you fucking morons suggest that at the start of all this instead of all of this fucking pain in the ass shit? This is horrible. Jules ambles back before he gets into the rape van. He goes, they said you could leave tomorrow. What? Yeah, they just want to syndicate the show. And we're like, holy shit. Okay. So we jump in the cars. We go our separate ways. I'll never forget that. It was one of probably the most poignant moments in the radio career. It was like, oh my God. It's like the clouds just opened up and the sun shined down on us. In an instant, we went from outhouse to the penthouse. Okay. Now, at this point in time, from that moment to the next day, the goal is, well, we just get to leave. And the payoff is we get to leave. Okay. We had no idea about the next step happening. We wander in. Okay. The lawyer comes into work while we're still on the air. And he goes, hey, would you guys come in and see me? We'll work this out. The next day. Okay. We wander in there. And he says, okay, he's really nice and friendly guy, had been a total dick leading up to the day before. But now he's all friendly. He goes, oh, this is great. This is working out awesome. We go, it is? Okay, if all we got to do is pay a lawyer for this bullshit to happen, whatever. We're just going to cut and run. He goes, okay, all we got to do now is figure out how much to pay you guys. And we go, what? So we huddle up, okay? First of all, a lawyer goes, okay, how about we give each one of you guys, and I don't remember the amount, but for some reason, I think it was about $20,000 per dude. Okay. Now, you got to know that nowadays, a show like Free Beer and Hot Wings, when it comes to adding a station on syndication, you know how much money changes hands? $0 changes hands. The assumption is they'll make their money on ads, which kind of works out a little, but the days of exchanging actual cash are over. Hell, it was over when I was there. Radio stations don't pay for that shit anymore. Okay? They think, we'll just give you inventory of the commercials. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? So anyway, this guy throws us $20,000 each at us. And we go, all right, let's huddle up. And Greg and we like, oh my God, let's just look like we're discussing this. All we wanted to do was get out of that fucking thing with no money. That's what we were expecting. So we go from being sued the day before to all of a sudden, this dumbass is going to give us $60,000 to divide 3 ways. Oh, and we get to leave. What the fuck? So we go, all right, yeah, we'll take it. And that was it. The rest is history. We pack up our shit. We announced on the radio we're just taking a week's vacation. We'll be back in a week. That was the time we moved. And there was no reference to us not being on that station anymore. We just kind of couched it on the air like we were still there, and nobody was the wiser. It took years before the Jersey audience realized we were even gone. Incredible. That is that story. That was probably the biggest turn of events in any type of capacity that I've ever that I'd ever been involved in. I mean, seriously, we thought we were screwed, and then suddenly, because of Jules asking, "What are you going to do with it?" Had somebody said anything early on, we would have just been admiring the cicadas and then on our merry way with a whole syndication deal. But it ended up working out. But at the time, holy shit, it was so crazy. Absolutely nuts. All right. Little trip down memory lane from the old radio days. All right. Thanks again to my friends at the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Call up Mario at 231-332-6505. If you need a mortgage, no matter where you are, call Mario. Now, I say that. There are some places in the United States that he cannot do business. He's not licensed to do that. But try him out. Depending on where you are, Maine, you're out. I know that. Maine is out. Call up Mario, 231-332-6505 if you need a mortgage. If your credit is great, this will be an easy process. If your credit stinks, it's going to take a little bit more navigating. Mario's up for the task. He was in that boat at one time. He knows every trick in the book to get you into a mortgage. That won't be the 2%, 2.5% mortgage interest rate. You'll be a little higher, but you'll be in your own mortgage, and you won't be paying rent. Okay, that's the key. And your credit score can always improve. You're not going to be a damn loser forever, for crying out loud. Build your credit or rebuild your credit the right way with the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. 231-332-6505. Gun school is coming up. If you want to be certified and have a pistol license, be able to carry your piece concealed, which you should, reach out to my friend Steve Prince at Prince Army. And if you're in West Michigan, the first thing you need to do is not buy a pistol. It's take the class. The class costs $125. You can sign up at princearming.com. or click on the Prince Army logo at ericzaneshow.com. It'll take you right to his Facebook page. Click on events. You'll see about the upcoming events. It's all there. Or just call him 616-204-1705. Leave him a message. He'll pick it up and say, "Hey, this is retired Army Major Steve Prince from Warrior Set Free in Prince Army." He's like 6'7", so he's got like an ultra deep voice. Can you imagine how weird it would be if his voice was like this? He's got the Caitlyn Jenner voice. 616-204-1705 for Prince Army. Okay. Amanda writes, "Oh my God, I just saw that Ben is calling his comedy week, is doing his comedy week, and he's calling his tour the Bomb City Tour." Ben Glaze is, I think, a quick way to make Ben more relaxed on stage, because I honestly think he's just a little bit uptight right now when it comes to Ben Glaze doing comedy. Because anybody who's ever heard Ben talk, he has a bit of a struggle when it comes to stringing together consecutive words without it getting all wonky, you know? That's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So he is in the ultimate field that you don't want your words to get wonky. Yet here this glutton buttfuck for punishment is on stage, Joe Bidening his way through every single event, and he still keeps coming back for more, despite being brutally beaten every time he takes the stage. So, with that being said, I saw that Ben tweeted out his appearances this week. Last night, he was at Fulton Street Pub. Wednesday, 8 p.m. He's got another event coming up. Oh, damn it. He kind of put, he wrote it down, but he didn't, put where. All right, so he's got a comedy appearance coming up Wednesday. It's going to take me a little bit of effort to figure out where that is, because God knows I don't remember. I don't commit it to memory because I have a hockey game that night, which I had last night too. So I got hockey last night, hockey Wednesday, hockey Friday. The Garage Bar is tonight in Grand Rapids. Let's see, he is really active. Last night, he bombed at Fulton Street Pub. Tonight, he bombs at the Garage Bar. Wednesday, he bombs at River City Saloon. And on Thursday, he will bomb at Mahala in Grand Rapids. Okay. So we are now calling it, I said, see for yourself if at the Ben Glaze, if the bomb streak continues. He's hashtagging things now. Bomb City or something. Yeah, hashtag Bomb City. Let's see how many bombs there'll be. Hashtag Bomb City. It's a nonstop bomb fest. Maybe this will have him relax a little. I mean, it's bad enough that he can't write a fucking joke to save his life, let alone deliver one without it sounding like he's giving birth. Ugh. God, I have got to see one of these bombs before he hangs himself. I mean, seriously. I've every time he goes out to bomb, I have something going on and I have to miss the fucking show. So I cannot wait to get out to one of these bombs. Didn't he say Thursday he had a bomb? Yes, Thursday's got a bomb. What am I doing Thursday? I have nothing going on Thursday. So that show on Thursday at some place called Mahala. What the fuck is that? Let me guess. It's like Battle Creek or something. I can't tell. Mahala, Grand Rapids. Cafe Bar, Mahala Cafe Bar. Okay. That is at 3010 Schaefer Avenue, Southeast, number 3. Grand Rapids, Michigan. I will commit to that right now. So, if you are in Grand Rapids and you're on 28th Street and you're traveling east, well, Schaefer is just west of Broadmoor. That's where Schaefer is. There's a Qdoba on the corner there. There's a Panda Express there. You turn south on Schaefer, and right next to Pause and Unwind Pet Resort is Mahala Cafe Bar. Shithead will be there Thursday. Let us pack the house and see this bombing. I am right now committing to being there. Chris says Southeast Side, pack some heat. I don't think it's a problem. Across the street from Woodland Mall. So let's fill the house with Ben supporters and blow some smoke up his ass and laugh at his horrible jokes so we can keep him bombing. Honestly, I would actually laugh if it was funny. And if it wasn't funny, I'd probably laugh too. It's going to be a good time. And he's going to be completely shocked at the people that are there. Mahala Cafe Bar. Ben, Thursday night. No reason why you can't be there. Okay, I'm going to the email. 2 emails of the day. Rick writes this. Zane, not related to the show, but how can I get you to drive us around in a limo for my wife's birthday? Do I specifically ask for you at Affordable Limo? Let me know because it will be a blast with you dressed as a gay magician. Very simple, Rick. The first thing you do is reach out to me and give me the date that you want to do this. If I'm free, I do it. Then I reach out to limo company at the same time you reach out to limo company. I say to them, hey, Rick S. is reaching out and he wants to book a limo and he wants me to drive. I can take the job. That's how this works. So yes, and that goes for anybody else. If I'm free, I'll do it. Okay? If you need someone, I'm telling you, I'm a great limo driver. The only thing when it comes to things like Cameo that I'm equally as good at, Cameo, podcasting, TV work, covering Griffin's games, and limo driving. Oh, and giving away kidneys. I'm an excellent limo driver. You would have so much fun. I can promise you that. I would love to squire you about town in one of the fine limos at Affordable Limousine and Party Bus. Keep that in mind for any of you. All right. Yesterday on the show, I talked with you about my disgust at my inability to cook on a charcoal grill. And, it's bad when I put the meat on, and it is legit 700 degrees in the grill. You are not going to have success cooking anything at that hot of a grill. Yet there I was throwing the burgers on. 1 second later, they are as hard as hockey pucks. It was a complete disaster. Everybody's pissed. It's just like basically taking money and lighting it on fire. You spend all that money on the meat, all that time you spent, and then what the fuck? I have no idea how to operate this Weber grill. At the bottom, there's like fins that you can use to get rid of the charcoal, the dust at the bottom. And I think that has something to do with temperature, but I just don't know how it works because it's either it's extinguishing the coals or it's too damn hot. There's the vent on top. So I struggle with this. I've forgotten how to use a charcoal grill. And somebody like, how could you possibly be so stupid? Now, my neighbor across the street, Etta, this sweet lady, she is constantly using the exact same grill, and she crushes it. So if this doesn't work, I'm going across the street to talk to her, and maybe she can help me. But this is bad. For a year, I've been just doing a terrible job cooking food. And I know there's a good way to do this. Matt writes, Zane, I was listening to the show yesterday, and he wrote today's show, and hearing about the grill issues. The temperature is controlled by the vents on the bottom. I did not know this. I had a thought that it could be, but I don't know still how to utilize these things. All open, all closed. I mean, what's going on there? He says, on the bottom, that brings in the oxygen up under the coals. I always start with mine only 1/3 of the way open. Once you get the charcoal in and the temp stabilizes, if you need it hotter, you open them up more. Or if you need it cooler, you close them some. These are all micro adjustments, though. Okay, great. But what gets me, though, isn't that like a subtle change? I mean, doesn't it take a while for that temperature to fall? I mean, it's not. With fire, can't you just turn it down and it's less hot, right? I don't know, man. I don't know if this is going to work out. It also helps to keep all the charcoal on one side of the kettle. So if the temp shoots up or the flames are out of control, you can move the food to the cool side. Hope that helps. Signed, Matt. All right, it's possible. I'm going to wait. I was just going to throw the grill away or give it to somebody or something. But I will attempt it again. But man, that was frustrating. That sucked. Son of a bitch. All right. As you guys know, I would love to have more ads on the show. I know that sounds strange. My God, don't you have enough? Well, this is what I do for a job. And I'm constantly talking to people who are thinking about marketing on the show. It does not cost you anything to reach out to me for me to tell you how it works. All you're out is the amount of time it takes you to read the email that I write you. or talk to you on the phone about with more details about it. If you have even an inkling of interest in marketing your business on the show, reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. I'd love to have you. Thank you to Gift of Life Michigan for being part of the show. Gift of Life Michigan, you can get more information about donating your organs. Boy, that is you don't hear about that often on a podcast, but they reached out to me after I donated one of my kidneys, which still to this day, when people say, "Hey, how you feeling?" I'm like, about what? COVID? Oh, I almost forget that this happened because it has been such a easy to manage thing in recovery. And I tell you, I feel great. Jeffrey feels great. 30 pounds heavier. He was going to die. He lives today and is just so grateful for that. Gift of Life isn't exactly focused on living donation. That's a pretty tough ask of anybody. I mean, by God, if the notion ever does strike you, by all means, turn to me. I've got a master's degree and everything that is involved in that. But just making it so that your organs are available in the event that you pass, okay? That's what this is all about. More information on their website. Just get there by clicking on the Gift of Life logo on my sponsor scroll at ericzaneshow.com. Yesterday was the day for David from A&E Heating and Cooling to show up and tune up the air conditioning. David's the son-in-law, okay? Slick Joe Martinez has branched out. He's got a team of 3, count them, 3 dudes that work. Himself and 2 other dudes who are in the field. All right, son-in-laws. And in addition, his daughter does bookkeeping. So it's a complete family affair. David shows up. He was hired by Joe. He was in a completely different field. He was in education. And then about a year ago, when business started booming because of the podcast and because of Joe's hard work, David said, "Hey, man, can I work for you?" And Joe said, "Yeah, absolutely, man. You're my guy. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know." So he's off and running in the heating and cooling trade. So that's awesome. David showed up at the house here and tuned up my AC expertly, and you can have that same type of treatment for just $79. All right. Now, I give Joe $190 a year for 2 things. First of all, tuning up the AC, and then as the winter months are approaching, he tunes up the heating unit. So that's what you should do too. A&E Heating and Cooling, 616-516-8579. If you are in the market for a new AC install, okay, and you should be because summer sucks, all right? If you don't have air conditioning, your wife's like, "Oh, God, why do we have to constantly sweat our tits off every year because you're so damn cheap?" But you just bite the bullet and reach out to Joe and get this thing installed. He's going to install the Comfort Maker brand of heating or of air conditioner, and he's going to install a Remy Halo for free, okay? Because you are a listener of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Mention me. You get the Remy Halo installed for free. All right? 616-516-8579. Who is the asshole of the day today on the Eric Zane Show podcast? Could it be Christopher Nolan for making a movie way too complex? Bill and Melinda Gates. Boy, I can't really call someone an asshole because they're getting a divorce. I guess you could. I mean, which one of these 2 cheated? That's the question. The guy outside of Kid Rock's bar for whipping around the colostomy bag at people. There's kids walking down the street, feces hitting people, cops like, "Oh, my God." How about just Kid Rock in general? He should probably, by the way, I've dropped off of the face of the earth when it comes to live. I still like his music, but Kid Rock is a complete douchebag these days. Let's see. That's about all I got. I think that those are your nominees. As always, I guess I could be. What do you guys think about asshole of the day? JM Synthetics says that the folks at A&E Heating and Cooling were at his place today. Thank you, Jason, for calling on one of our sponsors. As everybody should call on you as well. The asshole of the day, in fact, brought to you by JM Synthetics and TC Paintball. Thank you to those dudes for helping me out, being part of this show. And it's got to be the colostomy bag guy. Who else could it be? What a scene. If ever there was a reason for a cop to shoot somebody, it wouldn't be to actually save someone's life. It would be because who in the world could possibly love someone that's whipping around a colostomy bag? They all got to get hepatitis tests now and AIDS tests and any other test. Holy shit. Yeah, that is your asshole of the day. My God. All right, folks, that's going to do it. The Patreon bonus, it starts at 11 a.m. Oh, before that, though, at 10:30 a.m., Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. Dale is taking on Leon P. Leon P. is taking on Dale in Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. That's at 10:30. Patreon bonus at 11. That's a lot of work to do. I'm up to the task. Till next time, folks, thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.